In this video, I'm going to make a triptych. What is a triptych, you ask? If you've ever gone to someone's house or in a building and on the wall you see a picture divided into 3 parts, that is a triptych. It comes from the Greek word triptykos, which means having 3 folds. I'm also using this video to try out different adjustment layers. For my triptych, I'm going to use a picture of me playing at a tennis tournament in Houston back in the 1980s. I very rarely use my own photos because, quite honestly, most of them aren't very good or are of people that are still living, and I like to ask permission if people are still living. My triptych won't be one scene divided into 3 parts, but 3 pictures where I've applied different effects. I've already opened a textured background for my photo. Now I'm going to go to File and Place and hunt down the photo I'm going to use and then drag it in. Doesn't have to be that big. And then what I need to do is I need 2 more copies of this, so I'm going to go Control and J, 1 and 2. So now I have 3 of them. So now I can move 3 of them off like that and then line them up. Now I'm going to make sure my snapping is on so I can line them up like that and then line this one up like that and this one up like that. To make sure that there is the same space between these, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select them all, and then I'm going to go up here to this little button, and it's called Alignment. So I'm going to punch Alignment, and then go over here to where it says Space Horizontally, and then punch Space Horizontally, and notice how they moved, so now we can just say Apply. Okay, so now we can apply our first effects. I'm going to make sure that this one is on the top. Just for personal preference, it really doesn't matter. So this one is going to be on the top, and I am going to go down to Effects and then press Layer Effects, and my Layer Effects window will open. So once my Layer Effects window is open, I need a drop shadow. So I'm going to go down here and select Outer Layer for drop shadow. And then I'm going to adjust the radius and adjust the offset so that I can get the shadow I want. And right here, this looks fine. The other thing I need is I want an outline. So I'm going to select Outline. And remember, you have to select the whole rectangle in order for the outline screen to show up. So the color from our outline is black, and I'm not going to leave it at black, but I want to keep it there until I can see my outline appear. There it is. And what I want is I want a complementary color to the background. So I'm going to go into Color, and then I'm going to try and look for a complementary color. I don't really want it to be green. So let's see, I kind of like that one. So I don't want it too dark, but I want it dark enough to where it's going to show up. And I think that's what we're going to go with. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out. So now we're all closed up, and we have our faint outline. Don't want it too thick. And then I want to copy the effects from this to the other 2. So I need to select that and then right click and copy. And then I'm not going to copy the layer, I just want to copy the effects. So I need to select both of these and then go up to Edit and paste effects. And so now we see our effects right there. Okay. So now we can start on our Adjustment layers. So the first adjustment layer I'm going to use is the brightness and contrast adjustment layer. So I've already clicked on the one I want to change, and I'm going to click on brightness and contrast. This brightness and contrast will give you a poster-like effect. So I want to brighten that up, or contrast that rather. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to blend mode and then take a look at linear burn. Now that looks weird. Why? Because I only wanted this adjustment effect to affect this layer. So I need to move that down. Now I'm going to adjust it to make it look less odd. So there's our linear burn adjustment layer, and it's sort of posterized. There is a posterized adjustment layer that you can use if you want to go in that direction. Okay, now we're going to select the middle one. And the middle one, we're going to add a black and white adjustment layer. So again, our adjustment layer needs to be inside the picture that we're working on. And I like to have my black and whites a little dark. So I'm going to darken that up a little bit. And then once I get the darkness that I want, now let's lighten it up a little bit. I'm going to close that off, and now I have my black and white. The last one we're going to use is the recolor adjustment layer. So I'm going to select the third one. I'm going to go down to adjustment layers and go up to recolor. And it recolors everything, of course. So you really need to make sure it's nested inside the appropriate picture. I like this. This is kind of a cool effect. You can select all sorts of colors here and then just adjust the saturation so it doesn't look too bizarre. So I've really gotten into this one. I think I'm going to select the red. I think I want a little bit more red. See what happens when I do this. And once I get the adjustment I want, then I'll just close that out. Now, I have my Triptych art piece. I really doubt that this is going to go on anyone's wall, quite honestly, but give this a try and see what you can come up with. And remember to like, subscribe, and click on that notification bell. Hop on over to my Buy Me a Coffee page to check out my latest posts.